I hope you guys are good. Okay, so today we are talking about the most important thing, actually. We are talking about financial literacy. This is the most important topic that I don't think we touch on it uh, enough in terms of sorting out our finances. The reason why I'm actually making this video is because a lot of people have reached out to me and they were telling me there are problems. Basically, some of them, they're telling me that they are in debt. They are hard in debt, and they can't even get out of debt, so basically they are suffocating. And then another group of people that have come to me are people who are saying, yo, Msizi, the money that we are getting from our job is not enough. Another group of people are people who are saying, Msizi, we want to start businesses, how to start a business. Another group of people that comes to me is, hey, Mrs., we have money, but where can we invest this money, or what to do with this money? So can you see the type of groups I work with? So yeah, just to put a perspective, on a daily basis, I get over 100 inboxes on across all social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, and WhatsApp. Like there's quite a lot of messages I deal with on a daily basis, and it's just it's just too much. So anyway, I then thought, let me make this video and try and make it easy for people to understand how finances work and how can they sort out their finances. So I'm going to go through a lot that is going to help you to understand finances. It's quite a lot, but I'm sure it's going to help you as we go. And anyway, greetings for some of you who are joining my live sessions for the first time. I hope you guys are good. It's always a pleasure to be live and talking to all of you guys. My name is Msizi, MSN. I talk about personal finance and entrepreneurship for educational purposes. Uh, I try to bring some light to people about businesses, how to start businesses, how to market businesses, and so forth, as well as how to, manage your money, how to save, how to get out of debt, how to improve your credit score, and so forth. So those are the things that I normally talk about in all my social media platforms. So I'm sure by now most of you know me. I've been doing these lives for years now. I've been doing these lives for over 4 years straight, but content creation, it's been 7 years creating content. But going live and helping people and mentorships and everything, I believe it's been 4 years now. This is the fourth year. So anyway, I'm always excited to come here and teach and remind you some of the things that you guys know, just for us to be on par. Because, this life sometimes, guys, is difficult. You just need someone to tell you things that you know so that you get that approval, so that you know that, okay, you know what, I'm actually in the right path. Actually, I'm thinking about the right thing. So basically, that's what I do. I remind people the things that they know, or at least they should know if they don't know. So that's basically what I do and who I am. I'm a software developer by profession. I'm an author. I'm a content creator. I'm a founder and CEO of a group company called MSN Group. So yeah, those are my credentials. That's what I do on a daily basis. I deal with people in different levels. I deal with people uh, in business. I help a lot of small business owners to manage their businesses. So one of my business deals with software develop. Sorry, one of my business deals with software development and marketing. So if you have a small business and you can't make sales, you are not growing on social media, people do not know about you, I help you with that. So my company actually helps with such. If you don't have a website, if you don't have online presence, my company helps you with that. And then another company is an institute that mentors people. It mentors them either on a one-on-one basis or in a group, or in an event such as a webinar or a seminar. So that's basically what the second group does, or business. And then the other business deals with, it's a prof it's actually personal brand, which is me. I deal with content creation, which is what I'm doing right now. Author, I have two books that I've published. Um, yeah, I also work with brands. I work a lot with banks. I work with I work with investment companies. I also work with insurance companies. Those are like the companies that I normally work with on partnership. Um, what else do I do? Oh, and then I have an online store. So when I tell you to own an online business, I'm telling you something that I do. So this is just a reminder. This is just an introduction for some of you who are joining my life for the first time. You don't know who's this guy. And yes, I am hugely invested in the stock market. I invest. I'm an investor, so I invest in the stock market. So yeah, that's basically who I am. And good to meet you. All right, so let's talk about the topic for today. Uh, so today we are talking about personal finance, or we are talking about financial literacy. So what is financial literacy? Financial literacy is the ability to know and understand the holistic personal finance, basically. Is to know your budgeting, is to know your savings, your investments, your retirement, is to understand your credit score and how to actually work around it, to understand insurance, to understand how tax work, how to, do your tax returns and everything. So it's basically so much. It's about estate planning. How do you write a will, or when do you write a will? What type of trusts are out there? What can you do to make sure that if you die, your money or the things that you have, it gets passed down to the right people, maybe to your children, maybe to your siblings? How does that work? So guys, if financial literacy is everything about us living and using money, and the decisions that we are making around assets and money. They directly impact our lives. So if you do not know personal finance, I suggest you stay, my friend. I suggest you go through and understand everything that I'm going to talk about today, because I'm going to share a lot of points, and I think these points are actually going to help you a lot. Anyway, all the best. I hope this year you are going to sort out your finances. Let's sort out our finances. Let's save. Let's invest. Let's start businesses. Let's have other streams of income. Let's do everything and anything that we need to do, to be financially free, to be financially able, to navigate this life, especially to leave legacy for our children. That's the most important part. If there is one reason I'm making all of this content, it's mainly because I want you to make sure that when you die, your kids are taken care of. They have money, you left them with assets, you left them with stuff, basically. So I think it's because my parents both are still alive, by the way, but they didn't give me anything. So I literally created everything that I have. Yes, they helped me to go to university, they helped me throughout my life, but to understand how life works on a financial perspective, on a professional perspective. I would like to believe that I navigated it myself. I did a lot of studying, I did a lot of research, sacrificing, failing, starting from scratch again. I don't know how many times I've failed in business. I don't know how many times I've been broke. I don't know how many times I've been followed people wanting their monies, being in debt, some of my stuff being repossessed. You know, it's been a roller coaster, but guess what? Throughout all of that, I've learned so much. I've learned so much. So here I am. I'm standing, and right now, look, I'm hugely invested, and I have assets. I have a business that I would like to think it's doing okay. It's growing gradually. It's, take time, but it is growing. Anyway, let's start. Let's talk about budgeting. So when we talk about finance, when we talk about uh, financial literacy, the first thing that you talk about is budgeting. What do we mean when we say budgeting? We talk about having a budget, a monthly budget. How much do you spend on a monthly basis, and do you account for it? Do you know on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis how much you use and for what? Can you account for every cent that comes in and out of your life or out of your bank account? If you cannot, if you are a person who says, Yo, Msizi, I don't even know what I did with my money. Yo, Msizi, I'm bad in managing my funds, then you're not doing good, my friend. Please sit down and have what is called a budget. How does a budget help you? It helps you, number one, to navigate life. Let me help you with this. Let's say this year you want to start building a house, or this year you want to buy a car. Maybe this year you want to save towards your children education, whatever the case may be. It will help you to have a plan, to have a budget, so that you know exactly how much money must I save monthly, for how long, so that you get the money that you want. For instance, let's say you want to save 30,000 by the end of this year. The question that you must ask yourself is, how much do I need to save weekly or monthly? So what you then need to do is you say 30,000 divide by 52 days. That should give you approximately how much money you need to save on a weekly basis. Or you can say 30,000 divide by 12. Those are 12 months. And then that should give you an indication of how much money you should save this year every month towards what? Education. Number two, let's go to food. How much food do you use on a monthly basis? How much money you spend on buying food? Maybe you spend 1,000 rand, maybe you spend 2,000 rand. Some people spend even 5,000. Food is expensive. The question you should be asking yourself is, am I buying the essential stuff? Can I cut down on things that I don't need? Things that I can live without. Your ice creams, your cakes, your what. Those are things that you can live without. And what am I doing to save more money while I'm doing the grocery? Those are questions that you need to be asking yourself. Do I need this? Do I have to go through every aisle, for me to get what I need? Or I can just do what I came here to do, and then that's it. So those are questions that you should always be asking yourself when you're doing a budget. A lot of people, when they do a budget, they write it down, but when they have to do the stuff, they actually don't do the things that they wrote down. They write down and it looks good on the plan, but when it comes to executing, that's where the problem starts. So, what am I saying to you? Stick to the plan and have it. In the first place, have a plan. Number two, stick to the plan. So, budgeting is very, very important. It helps you with the long term goals. What I've just said, how much money do you want, towards your house, deposit towards the card deposit. If you want to fix your credit score, it starts with budgeting. What are you doing towards, paying off the debts that you have? What are you doing towards the things that you're supposed to be doing? So I cannot overemphasize the importance of budgeting. We always talk about budgeting. I've seen a lot of personal finance creators telling people to budget, but I don't think people actually take them serious. People do not budget. I am telling you now, if you want to sort out your financial life, it starts with budgeting and sticking to the budget. One of that is to make sure that you have apps that allows you or that helps you to budget, or you have a notebook where you write down everything. For instance, maybe today you went out, you bought bread, and then you bought few nyana things. Write them down. Everything that you did, track it down. Just put it down every day. And then by the end of the month, look at everything you bought and then ask yourself this question: did I need all of this? When you ask yourself, when you tell yourself this question to say, yo, I don't know what I did with my money, it's probably because you were not writing down. So you don't know how much money you use for what, when, and what. So it's very important that you write down everything to the team. So, what do you write down, by the way, just to help you? You write down your expenses, you write down your income, how much money you get, how many streams of income do you have. That is very important, because the problem is we want to do everything with just one stream of income. Guys, you cannot manage this life with just one stream of income, not in this day and age. You need at least three different streams of income, like different sources. You get money from maybe your salary, you get money from a small nyana business, you get money from dividends or investment or from an asset, whatever, but never rely on one income, and also never rely on just one job. The reason why is because life is very expensive. Number two, if you are seeking financial freedom, you are not just living to survive life, but you're seeking financial freedom. You're gonna have to make sure that you have multiple streams of income. If you are surviving, if you just wanna go to work, come back, eat, sleep, then maybe one job is fine. Maybe one stream of income is fine. But if you wanna live a comfortable life where you can go wherever you want to go in terms of vacation, taking your kids wherever you want them to go, buy yourself whatever that you want to buy. You can take vacations, and be comfortable with that. That financially free life. If you want to renovate your house, you can. If you want to upgrade your car, you can. You can afford your insurances, you can afford all of that, if you really want that life. And by the way, that life is not for the rich. It's a basic life. That's how everyone should be living. But it starts with understanding that you need to have all of these things in place for you to live that life. But it's possible. It's not a fantasy. It's not a life that is lived by rich people to go on vacations, to eat whatever you want to eat at any time. Anyone can do it. It's all about the priorities. It's all about saving prior, so that when you're now living this life, it's easy because you saved while there was time, you invested while there was time. You were disciplined, you are still are disciplined, you are doing the right things, you are ticking all the boxes. Anyway, another thing that you put under budgeting is your savings. You also write down your debts, how many debts you have, and how do you go about that, and all of that. So there is so much that goes into just the budgeting. And while I'm talking about the budgeting, I have a guide. No, no, I don't have a guide. I have a financial notebook that I'm selling. This financial notebook, it will help you with what I'm talking about. Not that I'm trying to sell my book, of course I am, but what I'm trying to get across is there is, like, you don't even have to buy this. You can get whatever that you can, that where you can write down all the finances, all the expenses, your budget, your debts, your savings, whatever. So I do have a guide that helps with that. It's only 150 rand, so you can pay, and I will email it to you. You can print it out, or you can do it online. So it's up to you. But you need something that will guide you. So I've created something like that that would guide you, to pocket everything nicely. So check out that financial notebook. Instead of buying the normal diary or the blank notebook, find the one that has template. You just fill in the information in there. The second thing that you need to do, or that talks about personal finance, is saving and investing. So when we talk about saving and investing, we are talking about, let me start with saving. Saving, it's money that you are saving towards things that you are going to need in a short period of time. It could be money that you are going to use for unforeseen circumstances, or it's money that you are going to use maybe in a month's time, in 2 months, in 3 months, at least 6 months. So you need to have money in your savings that can sustain you for at least the period of 6 months. 6 months is good enough for money that is kept on savings. Now, let's have pockets for savings. Number one pocket is emergency account. An emergency account, this is the money that you use towards your unforeseen circumstances. I'm going to name them. Number one, it could be if you have a car and then, your tire just bursts. Uh, Maybe someone gets sick, and that's the money that you use, because you never plan for someone getting sick. That's the money that you use to take them to the doctors, to take them to the hospitals, all the unforeseen circumstances. Yes, even damaging your phone. Thank you, Bono. Damaging your phone is also one of them. If your phone cracks right now, you never thought that your phone will ever crack, or you will drop your phone. So that is unforeseen circumstance. Or if your phone gets stolen, you never plan for that. So I mean, it's very important that you plan for such. So it's unforeseen circumstances. Number two, you save towards vacations. Those things that you need to do maybe in few months. That could be your vacations. That could be, what else? I don't know, maybe buying something in just a short period of time. I can't even think of anything right now. Maybe you want to change a stationery, you want to change whatever, uniform, you want to change clothes, you want to buy clothes maybe in 3 months or 6 months. You can put that money under savings. You want to change your wardrobe. Those are like smaller nyana things, but you need to save for. Uh, you put it under savings. So what do you save for again? You save for emergencies, and you save for short-term goals, like buying clothes, as I said, and stuff that you need to do in a shorter term. And then let's talk about long term. There we talk about investing in the stock market. You invest in buying assets, like buying a property that will give you returns in a long term. It may give you returns immediately, or it may give you returns in a longer period of time. Eh, let's talk about shares. If you buy shares today, you're not going to be a millionaire tomorrow. You buy shares today, you wait maybe 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or even 30 years. That's when you will see the real good result. So if you want to buy shares, don't come to me and say, we are buying shares. Msizi, can you help me to buy shares? I need money. Msizi, hey, I'm broke. Msizi, this and that. I can't help you, because shares cannot do that. It's not even about me helping you. It's about the nature of the business. It's the nature of the industry. Shares are not for a short term. Shares are for the longer term. If you are investing for 5 years, which I think is reasonably enough, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and more, it is quite good. So those are like your long-term plans. Those are like, changing your car in 5 years. Remember, if you buy a car can last you for over 15 years. You know that. I don't know if you know that. If you take care of your car, it can last you for 15 years. But let's say, for argument's sake, you want to change your car in every 5 years, yes, then you can invest. 5 years is good enough. I know a lot of people normally change their cars in 5 years. Every 5 years, every 5 years they change a car, then they buy a new car. Either they get a new car or they just trade in the old car and then pay whatever difference. So it's up to you. But if you want to do that, if you want to buy a house maybe in 10 years, 20 years, if you have kids that are going to college maybe after in 10 years time, or in 15 years time, this is basically what you need to do. So I need you to know that investing is for wealth creation. You actually invest money so that it makes more money over time. And how do you make money with shares or with investing? You make money because every money that is investment, it compounds. Your money grows compoundingly, it grows over time. So for instance, if today you are investing maybe 10,000 in the bank, they will tell you exactly how much money you're going to make. For instance, they might say you'll make maybe, I don't know, my phone is always thingy. Maybe in the bank they always tell you that sorry guys, I was disturbed. I'm looking at my Facebook. It was jamming, but I hope it's fine now. Anyway, what am I saying? I'm saying in investment, you invest for long. How does it work? It's compounding. Let's say you are investing 10,000 now. If you invest 10,000 and then maybe it grows with 15%, 20%, or with just an average of 10%, it's way more than what you would get in the bank. In the bank, you would normally get maybe 4% to 6% growth annually. In stock market, it's normally 8%, 10% and above. Normally it's always way more than what normally banks give you. And bank is in a simple interest, and some of their packages or product, of course some they are in a compounding interest. And then definitely stock market, it grows exponentially high. It grows exponentially, whereas in the money that is sitting in the bank, it doesn't. So what am I saying to you right now? I'm saying, please don't put all the money in the bank. Understand that for short-term goals, that money must go in the bank at least, or something where you can put money, or money market where money you can easily access it. And then for long-term goals, then the money must be in the stock market or buy assets that will actually work and then make money. Overall, what am I saying? I'm saying your money must not be lazy. Lazy money does not make more money. If you think you have 20,000 in the bank and you think, man, I'm good, you are not. If you don't have a plan for that 20,000 that is sitting in the bank, then you are doing a big mistake, my friend. That 20,000 is better off in investments than in the bank. Anyway, I have to say though, yeah, there are risks involved in investments. You can lose your money, and in the bank, the upside of it is you you hardly lose your money there. However, there are things then that we do where when we talk about investments, you talk about diversifying. So that's where you don't lose your money. By the way, you don't lose your money in the stock market unless you sell your shares while they're on the negative. So what does this mean? Your shares can be on the negative for years, but if you don't sell them, who knows, they might go up again. However, if you sell it immediately, then that's when you lose your money. So you don't just lose your money in shares at all. All right, so let's move on to the third thing that I want to talk about when we talk about financial literacy. Number one, I spoke about budgeting, have a budget. Number two, I'm speaking about savings, which is for short term. I spoke about investment for longer term. What is MSN? What are you asking? Are you asking my name? Why it's called MSN? or there is something else that you are talking about? If you are talking about my name, MSN are just my initials, which is Msizi Simon Dlovu. All right, so let's talk about the third one, which is debt management. When we talk about debt management, we are talking about getting out of the debt that we are in. Um, this is the most important one because you can't start investing if you have a lot of debt. You won't be financially free if you have debt. Let me tell you something. Do you know how net worth is calculated? If you calculate net worth, it goes like this. They look at the appreciating assets against the debts that you have. These two, they then tell you how much you are worth. Your net worth is the asset that you have. So, what am I saying to you? If you have more debt, you have negative debt, you have negative net worth. Do you want that? I'm sure you don't want that. You also want to be amongst people who have more assets, who have more money, than debt. Let me tell you about shares. One of the things that we look at when we look at shares, when we look at the stock to buy, we look at assets the company have against the share against the debts that the company have. If the company has more debts than the assets, we don't buy that company. We buy companies that have more assets than more debt. Why? Because those companies, they are risky. The company that has more debts than asset, it is risky because let's say this company gets liquidated or it has problems. Do they have enough asset to, push the company up? No, because they have more debt. So they don't have money basically. So a company that has more assets, it's a good company because it's stable. And by the way, the company must have at least double or triple asset against their debt. But that's a topic for another day. You can book my mentorship session for us to discuss shares even more. All right, so let's talk about debt. Pay off your debt. Again, in my financial notebook, there is a template that will guide you on how to pay off your debt. Guys, you have to reduce your debt because if you have debt, there are two things that are happening. Mentally, you are always stressed. That is number one. Number two, financially or in life, you do not grow because you are always chased by debts. You are always chased by creditors. You are always owing people. Please manage your debts. Have debts that you can manage. If you have debts that you can't manage, please ask yourself, how did I get into this mess? And how can I get out of this mess? Fortunately, there are ways that can help you to get out of this mess. Uh, the method number one is to adopt what is called a debt management strategy or method. There are two formal methods, and then I like to have the third one. So, how does it go? Number one, you use what is called snowball method. This one, you start with a small debt that you have. You try and commit and push it as much as you can. You finish and then you go to the second highest, the third highest, until you go to the biggest one. So that's a snowballing method, or that's a snowball method of paying debt. You start with the small one. It doesn't necessarily mean that you don't pay these other debts while you are focusing on the small one. You do pay all these other debts, but the most money that you get, whatever money that you get, you focus all your strength on the smallest one. Once you finish it, then you breathe. You then go to the second one. You hammer it again. You finish that second debt. You breathe. Guess what? As you are finishing all this small debt, you are left with some money, isn't it? Don't use that money. Do you see the money that you use to pay that small debt? You take that money, you take the money off the second debt, you then pay the third debt with it. You not now pay other things with this money. You pretend as if that first debt is still there. But you take that money, you then pay the second debt with it. I'm going to make an example. I have two debts. This one I am paying 100 Rand. This one I'm paying 500 Rand. I pay this one and I finish it, right? When I finish this 100 Rand one, it's gone, but I still have that 100 Rand. I will take that 100 Rand and put it here on this one that I'm paying 500 Rand. So, what does this mean? I'm going to now pay 600 on this one. So, meaning it's the minimum 500 Rand plus 100 Rand from this debt. What am I doing? I'm actually pushing the interest rate and I'm pushing the time frame so that I finish this debt on time and I reduce the money that I'm paying, which is interest. It's very, very important you do that. That's a snowball method. What is the other one? It's called the avalanche. Avalanche, you basically start paying the smaller, you start paying the debt that has the highest interest rate. So, for instance, these two debts again, I have these two debts. What do? I look at the interest rate for this one. Maybe this one is 12.5%. This one is saying it's 23%. I don't know how you got to 23, but anyway, you have 23%, you have 12.5%. Which one do you start with, or which one do you focus on? Of course, you start focusing on this one, which is 20.3%, because it has high rate. This is so much. You will pay a lot of money for this one. So you start with this one. Any money that you get, you pay this one. Guess what you do? You don't pay the minimum amount that you are supposed to pay for this. You pay more on this one. So that's basically what happens. You focus on this one. It doesn't mean that you don't pay this one at all. You do pay it, but you focus every money that you get. You just focus on this one until you finish it, because it's very, it's very draining financially. Then you are left with this one, the 12.6%. Then remember, you still have this money from this one, and then but you finished it. You take this money from this one, you then pay this other debt. You try and hammer it as much as you can until you finish it. However, if you have a home loan, once you are almost done with your home loan, I normally say don't finish paying off your loan, your home loan. And I have a reason for that. The reason why I'm saying don't finish paying your home loan is because the reason why, I mean, the home loan has a credit. You have an access to some money against your bond. So it will help you in two things. Number one, it will help you to buy a, guys, my Facebook phone. Guys from Facebook, please forgive me. I don't know. This phone has problems. It's always falling. I don't know why it's always falling. And someone is calling me anyway. All right. So what am I saying? I'm saying, uh, what am I talking about? Yabo manje la bantu abangifonela bangiphazamisa. I'm on the mode here. I'm pushing. What am I saying? I think I was saying don't finish off the home loan that you have. That credit or that access that you have is very, very important. You can use that money, to buy more asset or to renovate the house or for whatever other reason. But don't finish off your home loan. That's all I can say. But if you want us to dive deep and talk about this further, you can book my mentorship session and then we can talk about it. And also, if you want me to help you to reduce your debts, you can book my mentorship session. We will plan and then we'll commit in those debts. And yeah, we'll try. All right. So the fourth thing that I want to talk about when you talk about financial literacy is your credit score. Do you understand what hurts your credit score? Do you understand what improves your credit score? I can tell you now that a lot of people don't understand this too. They just use their whatever. They just do whatever, but they don't really understand the finances and how this credit score system works. So let me explain it to you. A credit score tracks down the Brori. Is it Priori? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So the Brori, what it does is it keeps track of all your activities, your financial activities. For instance, if you get a loan, either a home loan, personal loan, car loans, a creditor is responsible of updating that information in the system. That system is accessed by the credit bureau. Then the credit bureau then knows that Msizi has a loan with company X. Once it knows that information, it then monitors that information whether you honor your payments, you honor your contracts, or you do not. If you do not, there is a period, 3 months. If you don't really pay your credit in 3 months, then it really start hurting you now. They start updating stuff. Then, a whole lot starts happening. You start getting letters, you start, so much happen, then they start chasing you. Anyway, please understand that. Number two, uh, there are things that drastically affect your credit score. Please know those things. There are things that drastically affect your credit score positively. Some they are affecting them negatively. What do I mean? The ones that affect you negatively, let's say you keep on applying for loans. If you keep on applying for loans, then the system flags you as someone who's very desperate, and that's not good. It will affect your credit score. But there are two things. There is what is called a hard, uh, what is it called? Hard. Okay, I think I'm gonna forget the actual wording for this, but hard credit checking or hard applying, it's when you're applying for for a loan in different institutions. That is a hard, I don't know, hard what, man, I forgot that. Anyway, and then yes, hard search, there you go, or hard inquiry. You see, you guys are helping me, thank you. So a hard search or hard inquiry, if you keep on doing hard inquiry a lot, then it would definitely hurt your credit score. And then there's what is called a soft inquiry or a soft search. A soft inquiry is when uh, you are just searching your credit score every now and again just to check how is it going. And then also the real estate, let's say maybe you're applying for a home or you're applying for a flat to rent, they will search your credit score. That one does not really affect your credit score. But if you are applying, I'm going to count, if you are applying for a credit card, a home loan, personal loan, car loan, is there a loan that I forgot? A credit card that I count? Yeah. All those ones, they are hard inquiries. So it will definitely affect it. So if you apply from all different banks, it's bad. It's not good. That's why now there are these platforms or there are these companies where you apply once and then the information goes to all different platforms. So that's the best thing that you can do. You can go about this. You see, that's why I'm saying personal finance is very important, guys. Understanding your finances and understanding these things, it is very, very important. All right, so let's go to the fifth point, which is insurances. Now, this is where I fight with a lot of people. This is where I fight with a lot of people. How am I fighting with these people? They think they need every credit insurance product that is out there. Number one, you'll find them having like two, three, four different funeral covers. And you'll find that some of these funeral covers, excuse me, they are under one, what is called an undercover twin gum. You guys will remind me again. But insurance undercover, I think that's the term. Basically, it's the mother of the insurances. Remember, some of these insurance companies, they are owned by a bigger company, and then they just have different names of companies. But if you really check who are they answering to, there is a bigger one there on top. You'll find all these companies like this, uh, but they are actually under one umbrella. Yebo namabe. So that's what you need to know. You don't have, and there's a cap for your insurance. In a funeral cover, you can't get more than 100,000, especially if it's under one underwriter. I think that's what it's called. It's underwriter. That's the word. If they're under one underwriter. So, yeah, Lumka, yeah, you are right. It's underwriter. So those are things that you need to understand, guys. And I don't know, people think if they are applying for insurances in different companies, they'll get more money. If you don't understand how that part works, then it's gonna affect you. You're gonna have a problem. So these are things that I want you guys to know and understand, because they are important and you need to understand them. Thank you, Book. And so I cannot overemphasize this. Number one, the insurances that you really don't need. Remember earlier on when see, Happy New Year. Remember earlier on when I was talking about savings and investments. Remember that time? Believe it or not. Oh, by the way, why do I say I fight with people about this? People think they need to have insurances and also have savings. Insurances, they are actually there to help people who can't save, or they are there to help people who can't manage their finances. If you can manage your finances very well, if you can save 15, I mean, maybe 60,000, 100,000 towards your savings account for emergencies, guess what? Then you can pay for whatever. You can even pay for a funeral. I know people always say funerals are expensive, but how much money do you actually get directly from the funeral? Isn't that the same money that you can save anytime? And they will say, but Mrs. What if someone dies before I save them? If you understand your finances, if you understand the holistic financial business, how it works. But that's a topic for another day. All right, so let's move on. Bonkosi, ne? I don't wanna. I'll be controversial because once I talk about this, I'll have to explain a lot, and I'm not in a liberty to do that right now. But there are policies, and I'm telling you guys, all of you on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube, go research this. You don't need all the insurances that you have. These Some of these insurances that you think you have, you actually don't need them. It's all about understanding finances and how to pocket your money. Then you'll be good to go. But that's a topic for another day. And as I said, I won't mention them. I was just making an example with funeral. But yeah, you just have to do your own research and then you will understand. All right. So another thing that I want to talk about is taxes. Do you understand how much you need to file to SARS? Do you understand how SARS work? Do you understand which money do they take and how much do they take? I know a lot of people get money from all these different things and then they don't file for returns. Do you know what will happen if you don't file for UBAP SARS? So those are things that you need to understand. I don't think I would say much about tax, but all I can say is number one, for every month that you get in all these streams of income, please make sure that you make SARS aware of those. And then should the tax season comes, declare all the incomes that you have. So please do your returns with SARS. SARS, guys, is one of the vicious department that I know in the finance. So please do understand SARS. I can help you to understand SARS. Right now, I'm just giving you bullet points. I don't want to go deeper in all these things. But the most important thing about SARS is to declare and do your returns every year. If you are working and you get your salary alone, make sure that you get EIR6. Isikade ngaphuma ekusebenzini angisawazi nala mafomu ukuthi kwakuthiwa yini. Was it IR6? Yeah, but you get it from your HR department, and then that's the one that you use, to file RIP5. Yeah, no, thank you. Hey, kade ngaphuma guys. And yeah, anyway, those are the things. Thank you. I see all your comments about the RIP5. So you get that form, and then of course you do your tax return. The tax return part, guys, is the most important thing when we talk about creating wealth, because there are people who think have money, whom they think they've got everything figured out until SARS come. Boom, SARS sell all their assets just to pay, because maybe they haven't been paying SARS for years, and then now the money has piled up, and then there's a lot of penalties, and then SARS, when SARS comes, they want their money or they sell assets. So you would think you have money, you think you are thriving, only to find out that you're actually owing SARS. And then SARS, when they come, then the first thing they do, they look at the assets that you have, then they sell them. Guess what? They will take your car, that is worth maybe something to 500,000, and then they will sell for whatever amount just to get their money. You don't want that. These auctions, guys, they are brutal. They are brutal. They are brutal. They will sell your house with way less than the money that you paid for it. But they just want their money. They don't care. They're just taking the collateral. So you don't want that. So anyway, yeah. When I'm mangonese utu SARS is a scam. Yeah, we can say that, but that's how government makes their money. So whether we like it or not, we are living under a certain system, and it's the system that we have to follow. Do I want to pay SARS? No, I don't. I want all my money. But the system tells us that if we pay SARS, we are paying the vulnerable, we are paying the old people, we are paying the for sustaining the country. So hey, what can we do? Let's pay it, guys. That's the system that we have in place. So let's pay SARS. Another thing which I think is gonna be my last point. There's so much I want to talk about when it comes to finance, but I'm done. I'm tired. The last point I want to talk about is estate planning. Uh, when we talk about estate planning, we are talking about taking care of your wealth, taking care of your assets, and protecting your assets. That is very, very important. So, how do we do that? And oh, by the way, what is estate planning? Estate planning is having, a will in place or having a trust in place. I see Bonito is asking me how to open a trust account, and when I want to put my properties there. Um, I don't have enough time to talk about the trust, but I will tell you what I can do. If you can send me an email, I will send you a guide that I'm currently working on around the trust. By the way, I'm not a qualified legal person or an accountant, but I have information that I've put together that will help you to understand the trust and the step of opening up a trust. So you can send me an email, and then I will send you this document. Don't send me a message. Send me an email, because on messages I don't have it on my phone. I have it on a computer, so I would email it to you. That way it's faster. All right. Anyway, what am I saying? Estate planning is about taking care of your wealth, protecting it, your asset, and passing down generational wealth, and making sure that your wishes are carried out. How do you do that? With carrying out your wishes is through writing down what, excuse me, what do you want them to do with your assets. For instance, if you have cars, you have homes, you have investment in the shares in the stock market, you have gold, you have silver, you have a land, you have whatever, those things, you want to say, this one I'm giving it to this one I'm giving it to this one, or a trust is nice on this one. No one actually owns all of these. They actually owned by the trust. If you want these, uh, you just get the benefit as beneficiaries, but no one actually will own this. And the good part about this, I spoke about asset protection. If things are under the trust, it essentially means they can't be possessed. They can't be repossessed. Should you have debts and when you die, because you know what happens when you die, creditors can sell this stuff to recover their money or whatever. But if your stuff are under the trust, you are in a liberty uh, of getting away with things, because that's what happens. The rich are actually using trusts even more. So the trust has a very, very good uh, a role that it plays in wealth creation. The biggest role that it plays is that it protects your asset against creditors. Um, yeah, I think that's the big one. Anyway, how do you do that, by the way? And I think this would be my last point. How do you protect? You protect by putting things under a trust. A trust is an entity on its own, and no one actually uh, you know, controls it, so to say. Yes, there's a principal. Yes, there's a trustee, a person who oversees the trust, and then there are beneficiaries. But really, it's an entity on its own, so it can, they can't, creditors can't actually directly tap into it. Obviously, if you did not do the thorough job in terms of understanding or your trust to be airtight, they might take the money. But the idea behind the trust is that your stuff gets protected. Basically, that's what it's about. And then how do you then pass down generational wealth? Remember, this money is not owned by a person. So, or these assets don't own by a person. So whoever is within that trust will continuously make money as long as those assets keep on making money. You get it? So yes, they need sustainability. Yes, they need whatever, but that's the good part about it. The money gets passed down from generations to generations, from generations to generations. That's, my friend. That's how you make money. That's how you keep money. That's how you multiply money. I thank you. I want you guys to buy my book. My book is about everything that I've spoken about and more. The book is called The Road to a Million. I'm going to start distributing the book from next week across Africa. So buy the book called The Road to a Million. It's going to teach you so much that you need to know about money, finance, businesses, and so forth. The second thing that I want you guys to, oh, the book is 300 Rand. This 300 Rand, it includes the delivery. So if you pay 300 Rand, you have already paid for courier fees even further. Sorry, guys, on Facebook. This phone keeps on falling. So, yeah, you can book a mentorship session. So, what is the benefit of mentorship session other than buying stuff? we get to really look at the problem, and I walk the journey with you. You are not walking alone. you know we put our heads together, and we actually get things done. Whereas when you are reading the book, some of you read the book and then you don't do anything that is said in the book. But if you have someone who walks the journey with you, it then becomes much better. Anyway, so it's up to you. But hey, guys, that's all I do. If you have a business, you are stuck, you don't know how to market your business, and my business can help you to market a business. I have an agency that helps you to create content, the content that will go viral, to generate sales, leads that will lead to sales and all of that. I have it, my friend. Anyway, thank you so much. May God bless all of you. I wish you a successful life. I wish you the life of abundance. I wish you the best. Let's try this life thing. These kind of sessions are the ones that are actually improves or improving our lives. Listen, is Pelasiko, guys. These kind of sessions, they really improve our lives. We become better people because we talk about these things. uh, some of us were in places where we don't really talk about these things. We don't talk about money in this length or at this length. So such sessions are needed to just remind each other of how money works, how to make it, how to multiply it, and how to keep it. Because what we are talking about here, my friends, this is exactly what rich people do and understand. And they even hire accountants, they hire lawyers, they hire professionals to manage this for them. When I was writing my books, I studied everything about wealth. I studied everything about creating wealth, and starting businesses and owning a successful business. I have realized that there is nothing in this life or in this wealth creation journey that is extraordinary that you can do. A rich person is an ordinary person like me and you. The only difference is they capitalized on opportunities, which a lot of people like me and you, we don't do. So, all the best, my friends. Cheers. Greetings. Always good. Sorry, I was